And we have got Jesse. Anytime I argue that God is pro-slavery, I've had some Christians who ask me, what is an objective fault with slavery? I always respond by saying they're insane for not finding anything wrong. But how do I respond to that honestly? All right, so sounds like we've got another atheist or skeptic looking to kind of relate their experience. I am going to bring you up, Jesse, and you are live with Jimmy and Jamie. What do you say?
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hi.
So, I'm an atheist and I'm still in high school. It's a big deal for me because my mom's kind of mad.
Okay. Well, all right. So your mom is mad. So I'm sorry. You're an atheist and your mom is mad.
Yeah, kind of. But I was arguing with my church pastor and I told him that I don't find it nice that slavery is, God is still slavery. And he asked me what's objectively wrong with it. And anytime I said it's just wrong, owning another human being and stuff, it's kind of off. He was kind of like, there's nothing objectively wrong with it. And I didn't know how to respond to that.
Jamie, all yours, brother.
One of the responses I've always enjoyed hearing people use is, well, okay then. Would you be my slave under the rules of the Bible, of the first 5 books of Deuteronomy and Leviticus and Exodus? Would you do that for me? Would you be happy under those circumstances? And let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. I mean, I would recommend you read those parts of the Bible and understand what they're saying about slavery, because it's not just about owning people, which in and of itself is highly, highly immoral, but it's also how you treat them. Oh, yeah, I can beat the crap out of you. And as long as you don't die, it's fine. I can, pass you on to my children as property. You are my property. And ask them, are you so lacking in human empathy to not understand that being owned and having your agency forcefully taken from you, and that agency dampening enforced by violence, if you don't understand why that is bad and you can't imagine yourself in that situation, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. Your empathy is broken. Like, you need to have more empathy to understand why it's bad. Yeah, that's kind of how I'd go at it. I'd say, well, what if it were you? What if it were your daughter? Would you want your children to be taken and enslaved in that way? Would you be happy with that?
Yeah. So Jesse, did you say what your answer was? How did you respond to that?
I said it's kind of wrong to beat up slaves and stuff. He didn't find anything wrong with it. He kept on saying slavery was a necessity.
Well, that's unfortunate. So there's some truth to that, and don't get me wrong. Slavery was necessary. It was necessary to do the things that people did, right? So like many ancient cultures all had slaves, right? And they built the cities they did, and they had the accomplishments that they did. And the United States is even one of those fits into the category of using slaves to better itself, right? If you will. Being necessary and being right, being virtuous are not the same thing. Okay. So you can kind of have these goals of, achieving something for your organization, for your state, your nation. And you can do it without slavery. It just takes a little bit longer to get there. The economics favor slavery. The outcomes as far as architecture and logistics favor slavery, because you don't have to pay them. They can just do whatever you tell them to do and things happen. But being correct is not the same thing. Being morally virtuous is not the same thing. And I think there's something that really needs to be taken into account. You know, it's not just the beating. It's the taking children away from their mothers or their parents, I should say, and selling them off, or the sexual abuse. I think that is actually quite an understated reason for why people wanted slavery so much. I think that, you know, having access to free, you know, I want to find an appropriate way to say this, but free sexual pleasures whenever you want, if you will, was something that a lot of people looked for. I think that was probably one of the reasons that many slaveholders wanted to maintain slavery in the United States. So, you know, there are some kind of, I think, objections to the idea that slavery was bad for the economy. And that's true as well. However, at least in the United States, but I guess we'll never really know. I mean, you have to stimulate the economy by paying people and giving them money to spend and this and that. But the reality was that people didn't want to spend that money and take that chance. They just wanted the free labor. And so that's the way it was kind of throughout history. And anyway, I'm kind of rambling now because I have a soft spot for slavery. I have a soft spot for women who are mistreated through slavery. I have a soft spot for women who are mistreated because of religion that allows slavery. You know, and the last caller talked about Abraham. I think one of the most heinous things in that story is the fact that Abraham's slave girl had no choice but to have Abraham's child. I think it's one of the most egregious things in the Old Testament, and certainly one of the earliest indications that God is not going to step in and do anything moral. So having said all that, Jesse, I think Jamie and I have kind of given you some ammo, but I think all those things are objectively wrong. I don't know. What's your take on all that?
I do find it wrong, but I find it sad that when I watch someone like my mom defend it, and it's so against her, and she doesn't see it. She is so into the Bible slavery thing in defending it. I just kind of feel sad seeing her defend it. Even my pastor, I'm shocked.
Yeah. Do you think they'd be willing to call us? They don't have to defend it to you. They can try and defend it to us if they like.
My mom is Kenyan, and she's kind of slow. I'm not trying to be mean, but she will not accept it. She will be mad that anybody's trying to go against her ideals.
Well, as I say, we have no skin in the game in terms of upsetting her. So if she wants to have that conversation with someone and vent her side, and you don't want to be the target of that, then feel free to sick her on us. But I'm sorry you're in that situation, man. It's very difficult when, especially a parent has an ingrained belief that is repugnant to you. So look after yourself, man.
Yeah, Jesse, I mean, are you out as an atheist to your mom?
I have not told her yet, because...
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not telling you have to, or nor should you. I mean, that's a decision that you need to make for yourself. I was just curious because you called and said she was mad, and then you asked you have your pastor. I mean, you could always give our information to your pastor and say, hey, I heard these horrible people saying some pretty horrible things about our religion, and I'd like you to call. But you're certainly on the right track, I think. Keep questioning. Someday you'll find the circumstances and the courage to come out maybe and do what you need to do. And I just wish you the best. I wish you the best. Jamie, you got anything else for Jesse? Just look after yourself, man. Yeah. Take care. Yeah, absolutely. Jesse, thanks for calling in. Oops, I think I dropped him out while he was saying his goodbye, but we heard it and we appreciate the call.